Welcome to another edition of Coffee with the Goose, where we talk about things that are interesting, fascinating, and irritating. I'm the Goose. So glad you joined me again. Got another great show, interesting topic to cover today. And we'll start, as we always do, with our coffee. Caffeine for me is an essential. Got to get it to, get the old body going in the morning, right? My coffee, as you know, very strong, like my opinion. Got some creamer in there to make it sweet, just like me. All right. Let's talk about a big event coming up in the spring. It is the Boxing Writers Association Fighter of the Year and Fighter of the Decade. This is a big deal in the boxing world. And of course, Manny Pacquiao is on the list for both of those. He is the only current fighter, obviously, to win the Boxer of the Decade award. Wouldn't that be amazing if he won that twice? That's unheard of. And Boxer of the Year award. He's in the running for both of those. Now, there are other organizations that have their awards. Everybody's got an award these days. But the real one, the one that counts, is the Boxing Writers Association Award. Now, why would I say Pacquiao deserves this award? Now, let's look at it logically. For those of you who think I'm just, I'm part of the Pacquiao fan club. Yeah, I am, because he's one of the greatest ever, and you can't deny it. But there are solid reasons why he should get, or, he deserves one or both of these titles. So let's go first of all with the Fighter of the Decade. This is monster. He won it the last decade, and much to the chagrin of the best ever, the Money Team, Money Floyd, Floyd Mayweather. Now Floyd, to his credit, he's in the running as well. And I'll tell you why he should be in the running. He fought 9 times in this decade, and he won all 9. He's undefeated. But there are holes in the argument, okay? A couple of those fights for sure. One of them was Conor McGregor. Come on. Now, McGregor, he's great in the MMA world, but that was his only fight as a boxer. And you're going to fight Mayweather? Okay, take that one off the list. The other couple of fights that I have a hard time with are the Maidana fights, or at least one of them. The first fight, many thought Marcos Maidana, defeated Mayweather. He bloodied him for sure and was relentless, and it was a great fight. Floyd won. Can't remember if that was a split decision or not. I think it was. Fighter of the Decade, to me, that's a chink in your armor. And the other, and this is the only time, shame on me, the only time I ever spent money watching a Floyd Mayweather fight, not counting the Pacquiao fight, was that sucker punch that he had with the Victor Ortiz fight. Now, first of all, Victor Ortiz, God bless him, great fighter, championship fighter, but he's not an A-list fighter, never has been. And it was a joke to begin with. Floyd was just toying with him. And Ortiz got frustrated and headbutted him. And you remember and this is where the corruption of boxing enters the picture. The referee separated them, and you can watch this on YouTube if you like. It was a shady scene. And they didn't separate him appropriately, the way most referees do. And I know you always protect yourself. I know. Ortiz is at fault too, but Mayweather sucker punched him and knocked him out. It's just an ugly scene. So I take that one off the list too. So that leaves what? 6 real fights in the decade. He only fought for half the decade. He retired in 2015, unless you count the McGregor fight, which I don't count, as I just said. He only fought 9 times in a decade. That's less than 1 fight a year. You're going to give him Fighter of the Decade for that? No, thank you. Unfortunately, the biggest Mayweather fan in the world is the boxing guy at Yahoo Sports, Kevin Iole. He gave it to Floyd. Yay, Floyd, you're our man. I never have taken Iole very seriously as a boxing analyst because he works for Yahoo, number one, and Yahoo is just look at their news and you'll know what I mean. So that's no. Floyd does not deserve to be the fighter of the decade. There are other fighters who deserve it more than he does. Anyhow, getting back to Pacquiao, in the decade he has fought 16 times, and he was 12-4. Yes, he lost 4 times, but now speaking as a Pacquiao fan, and B, somebody who sees things as they are, 2 of them are robberies. Let's be real. I don't make excuses. I'm not into that. But the Jeff Horn fight, no doubt it was a robbery. And the first Timothy Bradley fight was a robbery. It's plain and simple. And he came back and beat Timothy Bradley twice. I think Bradley's only lost once in his career. So, Pacquiao 12-4, and the legit welterweight titleist now, even at the age of 41. And not only did he fight 16 times in the decade, all 16 of those, and you can't say this about any of the other nominees for boxer of the decade, every one of those fights were championship fights. That's one thing I admire about Pacquiao. He doesn't cherry pick anyone. He goes after the best of the best. So I think he should at least be strongly considered as the fighter of the decade. And to do it twice, again, is unheard of. But he's done a lot of things that normal human beings shouldn't be able to do. Now, how about fighter of the year? I think you should win that. He fought twice, and against 2 title holders, and got the welterweight title back. He fought, let's see, who was it? Gotta refresh my memory here. Adrian Broner, who was a championship boxer, whether you like him or not. And then the great win over Keith Thurman, undefeated champion in his prime, 29 years old, and Pacquiao beat him easily. So, yeah, I think Pacquiao should be fighter of the year, for sure. Fighter of the decade? Yeah, why not? I mean, he has the numbers. He has the resume and the accomplishments to have won that title once again. Now, there are other nominees. 3 of them, I think, are retired. 2 of them, and forgive me, I can't remember the names on the list, but isn't that just amazing? And again, his whole life has been one amazing accomplishment after another. Just a quick refresh your mind on his history. Grew up dirt poor in Mindanao back in the back 40 years ago, and in the middle of a war between the Abu Sayyaf and the Philippine army, right in his backyard. He survives that. He sells bottles and I think cigarettes on the streets to help support his family as his dad ran away. He becomes a championship boxer, maybe the greatest ever. 8 division world title holder. Nobody has ever done that. 5 division lineal title holder. No one's ever done that. He speaks 3 languages that I know of, maybe more. English, Tagalog, Visaya. And now we just learned he's earned a bachelor's degree as well recently at the age of 40 at Makati University. He's a senator in the Philippines. What can this guy not do?
He also did Hebrew.
What? Hebrew as well?
Yeah.
It's just astounding. Yeah, he years ago, before the Marquez knockout, by the way, he had his vision, his he's come to Jesus moment. And he acknowledged and responded, and he's now spreading the gospel as well. What can you say? How can you possibly hate this guy? Yeah, he has his history, like all of us do. We've all done things that we should not, and we need to ask the Lord for a little more patience and forgiveness. But he stepped up after that, being a loyal, loving father and husband, serving the Lord. Using the millions, gazillions of dollars he's made as a boxer to help the poor, and now gets as a senator, and a college degree holder. The guy's amazing. So I respect him, and I'm still hoping when we go back, my wonderful wife and I, to the Philippines in June, that we're going to not only interview the mayor of Manila, Esco Moreno, but maybe, cross your fingers, interview Manny Pacquiao as well. We'll see. It'll be a great show. So stick with me. Got many more shows to come. And Pacquiao, again, expected to fight, he's already said, in March or April. And I think the three potential opponents he mentioned were Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, and Sean Porter. So no matter who he fights, it should be a great show. Stick with me. We'll talk more about that, and our next show we'll talk about the Wonder Boy of Manila, their new mayor, Esco Moreno. Some great information there as well. Stick with me. That's it for this edition of Coffee with the Goose. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Many, many thanks for subscribing, and stick with me for more shows. Take care.